Everybody, welcome back. We are in Chapter 3, Section 3, the Middle Colonies, beginning on page 72. American Diary. In August 1664, strong English forces demanded the surrender of the Dutch colony of New Netherland. Peter Stuyvesant, the colony's governor, at first flatly refused to surrender. Leading citizens pleaded with Stuyvesant to avoid, quote, the absolute ruin and destruction of about 1,500 innocent souls, close quote. Reluctantly, Stuyvesant surrendered. On September 8th, the colony became New York. Quoted in A New World. England and the colonies. Main idea. After seizing the Dutch colony of New Netherland, the English renamed the colony New York and formed the New Jersey colony. History and you. Have you ever won a prize and then shared it with your friends? Read how the English seized the New Netherland colony and then formed the New Jersey colony. In England, the Puritans who controlled Parliament struggled for power against King Charles I. In 1642, a civil war began. Led by Oliver Cromwell, a Puritan, the parliamentary forces defeated the king. Many Puritans from New England returned to England to join in this struggle. Charles I was beheaded in 1649 on charges of treason. A new government was established with Cromwell as protector. After Cromwell died in 1658, Parliament restored the monarchy, but with new limitations. When Charles II became king in 1660, his reign was known as the Restoration. In 1660, England had two clusters of colonies in what is now the United States. In the north were Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Maryland and Virginia were in the south. Between the two groups of English colonies were lands that the Dutch controlled. The main settlement of the New Netherland colony was New Amsterdam, located on Manhattan Island. Blessed with a good seaport, New Amsterdam became a center of shipping to and from the Americas. The Dutch West India Company wanted to increase the number of settlers in its colony. It offered large estates to anyone who could bring at least 50 settlers to work the land. The landowners who acquired these estates were called patroons. The patroons ruled the patroons ruled like kings. They had their own courts and laws. Settlers owed the patroons labor and a share of their crops. England takes over. New Netherland had an excellent harbor and a thriving river trade. The English wanted to acquire this valuable Dutch colony. In 1664, the English sent a fleet to attack New Amsterdam. At that time, Peter Stuyvesant was governor of the colony. He was unprepared for a battle and surrendered the colony to the English forces. King Charles II gave the colony to his brother, the Duke of York, who renamed it New York. New York was a proprietary colony, a colony in which the owner or proprietor owned all the land and controlled the government. It differed from the New England colonies, where voters elected the governor and an assembly. Not until 1691 did the English government allow citizens of New York to elect their legislature. New York continued to prosper under English control. It had a diverse population made up of Dutch, German, Swedish, and Native American people. Also among the population were Brazilian Jews, the first Jews to settle in North America. In 1664, New York had about 8,000 inhabitants. That population also included at least 300 enslaved Africans. By 1683, the colony's population swelled to about 12,000 people. New York City, which was called New Amsterdam when it was controlled by the Dutch, was one of the fastest growing locations in the colony. New Jersey. The Duke of York gave the southern part of his colony between the Hudson and Delaware rivers to Lord John Berkeley and Sir George Carteret. The proprietors named their colony New Jersey after the land of Jersey in the English Channel, where Carteret was born. To attract settlers, they offered large tracts of land and also promised freedom of religion, trial by jury, and a representative assembly. The assembly would make local laws and set tax rates. Like New York, New Jersey was a place of ethnic and religious diversity. New Jersey had no natural harbors, so it did not develop a major port or city like New York, and New Jersey's proprietors made few profits. Both proprietors eventually sold their shares in the colony. By 1702, New Jersey had returned to the king, becoming a royal colony. However, the colonists continued to make local laws. Reading check. Explaining. Why did no major port develop in New Jersey? Pennsylvania. Main idea. William Penn founded the colony of Pennsylvania and designed the city of Philadelphia. History in you. If given a chance, would you take land or money for a debt someone owed you? Read to learn how William Penn acquired Pennsylvania. In 1681, William Penn, a wealthy English Quaker, received land as payment for a debt that King Charles II owed to Penn's father. The king gave Penn a tract of land in America stretching inland from the Delaware River. The new colony, named Pennsylvania, was near as large as England. William Penn saw Pennsylvania as a holy experiment, a chance to put his Quaker ideals into practice. The Quakers, or Society of Friends, believed that everyone was equal. People could follow their own inner light to salvation. They did not need clergy to guide them. Quakers were also pacifists, or people who refused to use force or to fight in wars. They were considered a threat in England and were persecuted. In 1682, Penn sailed to America to supervise the building of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Penn designed the city himself and wrote Pennsylvania's first constitution. Penn believed that the land belonged to the Native Americans and that settlers should pay for it. He negotiated several treaties with local Native Americans. Penn advertised the colony throughout Europe. By 1683, more than 3,000 English, Welsh, Irish, Dutch, and German settlers had arrived. In 1701, in the Center of Liberties, Penn granted In 1701, in the Charter of Liberties, Penn granted colonists the right to elect representatives to the legislature. Swedes had settled southern Pennsylvania before the Dutch, and then the English took over the sea. Get my glasses checked, folks. Swedes had settled southern Pennsylvania before the Dutch, and then the English took over the area. The Charter of Privileges allowed these lower countries to form their own legislature. The counties then functioned or operated as a separate colony known as Delaware under Pennsylvania's governor. Reading check. Inferring. What was William Penn's primary purpose for founding the colony of Pennsylvania? Section 3 Review. Vocabulary. Define each of the following vocabulary terms and use each in a sentence. Patroon. Proprietary colony. Ethnic. Pacifists. Function. Main ideas. Describing. How were the colonies of New York and New Jersey governed? 3. Summarizing. Describe 3 beliefs of the Quakers. Critical thinking. Number 4. Making connections. Why do you think the Church of England might consider the Quakers a threat? Number 5. Contrasting. Recreate the diagram below and describe how settlers in Pennsylvania and New England differed in the way they acquired land from Native Americans. Number 6. Persuasive writing. Take on the role of William Penn. Write an advertisement to persuade settlers to come to Pennsylvania. Include details about the Pennsylvania colony that people would find attractive. Answer the essential question. Number 7. How did the middle colonies develop? Okay, that is Chapter 3, Section 3. Coakley out.